Welcome to the Daddy Sharps featured bets, everybody. These are the bets that we also love, in addition to our best bets, which you can find on our podcast.
But you'll only find our featured bets right here on the website, daddysharps.com, my man.
I like the website. You like the website?
I do like the website. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. A lot of cool stuff on there. Cool photos.
Yes.
You can also check us out on social media at Daddy Sharps and at Daddy Sharps Podcast, and check out our YouTube channel too. Pretty awesome stuff. All right, my man, let's get right to it. Here we are with our featured bets. We're going to start in the NFL, and John, kick things off, my man.
All right, sir. Here's what I like here. Green Bay -1.5 at Denver, 44.5. I already got Green Bay at -1.5 as my best bet. My featured bet, I like the under 44.5. I know. This is a historically bad defense, but I'm betting the Denver defense can get an under in this game. When they had their worst two outings of the season and in history of the NFL, giving up 70, this defense was without their all-pro safety, Justin Simmons. He's the difference maker here, and that's why I like the under 44.5.
Yeah, I kind of like it too, because you sold me on the best bet podcast or regular podcast as well. And I'm trying to find what the number is right now as we're recording here to see if it's moved. 44.5, man. Yeah, good stuff there. Good stuff.
Yeah,
44
and you get some key numbers with that 44.5.
Yeah, you loved your key numbers.
Yes.
And you should too at home, because you have to pay attention to key numbers. I do too. I just like to tease John a little bit.
Yes.
Hey, speaking of teasing, go ahead and tease me about this one if you like. I keep going back and forth, but everything that I see and points to Cleveland. Their defense looked pretty good last weekend. So I've got the Cleveland Browns laying 2 on the road at the Indianapolis Colts. The over-under in this one pretty low, 39 points. So Gardner Minshew had a bad game against the Jaguars last week, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
But let me ask you a question. Watching that game, be honest with me. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Would you say that the Jags beat the Colts, or did Minshew lose the game after making mistakes? Right?
Minshew, yeah. Get a little cray-cray.
When you break down the box score, listen to this. Trevor Lawrence had the higher QB percentage, but by far, and rating, I should say, rating. Minshew threw for 329 yards and 1 TD. Then he had 3 interceptions and a fumble as well. Trevor Lawrence threw for 181 yards total. He had 2 TDs, but he also had that interception. Is that much, much, much better? I think that 4 turnovers obviously make the difference, but
yeah,
you don't make those turnovers. I don't know, man. We should absolutely tease the Colts up to 8.5, and I will be doing that in multiple teasers here, teasing them up to 8.5. But the Browns should also win this one and cover -2.
I like it. So you mentioned this game before, and I like this game for another reason. Atlanta at Tampa Bay -2.5. I believe in your best bets, you took Tampa Bay -2.5.
That's right.
I'm going to go with the under here. I like the under 39.5. Both these teams have combined to go 9-2 to the under on the season. My data says you should be safe betting this under to 37.5. So you got a little cushion here, my man.
I like that one. 2-point cushion. I like that. All right, the 49ers from San Francisco are giving 7 points on the road to the Minnesota Vikings. The over-under is 44 in this one. Squares will be betting the 49ers at 6.5 if they can get that number.
Yes.
I might join them. All the sharps, they're already buying the Vikings down to 7, started much higher than that, bought it down. Look, no Justin Jefferson, no run game for the Vikings. But a lot of injuries on the 49ers. They play hard. You had that stat last week. They play physically hard, which means they beat themselves up too. I like the Vikings +7. Call me crazy. I think I'm on that sharp side too. My data says Vikings +7. I know you ran the numbers too with how you break it down, and you came up with the same thing.
Yep. I like that a lot.
All right, here we go, because where the daddies are fighting on this one. Daddies are fighting. I don't
like it. My 2 dads.
Green Bay Packers, you said it, laying 1.5 on the road at Denver. Is it called Mile High Stadium? Does everyone still call it Mile High Stadium?
It's got a corporate name. I don't even know what it is. Nobody calls it the corporate name. Everybody calls it Mile High Stadium.
Right, exactly.
the corporations even call it a Mile High Field at whatever corporate stadium name it is.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
The over-under in this one is 44.5. Give me the Broncos +1.5 at home. Here's why. The Broncos had too many turnovers last week. They almost covered against the Chiefs. They actually really did. If you go back and watch the game again. I know the Chiefs have a problem covering anyway, but does Jordan Love really look that great? I think the quarterback is the key. Excuse me, running back Aaron Jones is the key. You said it in our podcast. When he's there, he's going to be a difference maker, and I agree with you. But I don't know about Jordan Love yet. I just don't know. I think Russell and Peyton, they're going to have to get it right at some point. This is the NFL, and I like the Broncos plus 1.5. You like the Packers at minus 1.5 because you like Aaron Jones. He's back, and you love the screen passes. Let's just say your game plan includes the weak Bronco defense against the screen pass or any pass to any running back.
Yes. For me to win this bet, I'm thinking I should be betting Aaron Jones props as well. Aaron Jones is going to be the key to this game for me. If he goes over on his props, the Packers are going to win. Otherwise, the Broncos are going to do it. That's who I think.
You convinced me in the podcast, not here in the featured bets, but in the podcast that I'm already betting Aaron Jones props. All right.
Yep.
John, take me to the big one, the big game. I think this is game of the week, my man.
Oh, this is the game of the week. So I like Miami at Philly minus 2.5, 52.5. I'm going to bet the 6-point teaser with the Seattle, Arizona game. I'm going to take Seattle down to minus 1.5 and Miami to plus 8.5. Philly, you mentioned it before. Philly with a lot of injuries in the secondary, and Seattle playing an injured Arizona team without their top offensive player, James Conner. I love this teaser. It's my favorite teaser of the week, and I think you gave it out as a best bet, my man, if I'm not mistaken.
I did. So we're both in love with this one. Yep. Fantastic stuff. The Lions, the Detroit Lions are at the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are favored by 3 at home. The over-under is 41.5 in this one. I like the Ravens minus 3. Even with them coming home from London, I get it, but it is time to fade the Lions here in a tough matchup on the road. The Lions have an easy season from here on out, but this is their last tough game, and they're just not going to get it done. The Ravens are looking better and better on offense. Never mind that I got a lot of Ravens on my fantasy team. That's not why I'm pulling for them this week, but I would really like that a lot. If you're listening, if you just happen to be listening, Ravens. Their defense will match up well in the red zone, especially against Jared Goff, and they will cover, and they will win this game minus 3.
So something funny. Yeah. Me and you talk about all the time. These teams come back from London and they're going to be able to play. Well, you think about it. Atlanta went there, came back and won the week they came back. Jacksonville comes back, they win. Buffalo came back, they won. You know what I mean? Like maybe coming back's not hard. Maybe it's the trip out that is.
Tennessee came back and they had a bye.
That's right. You do get that option with the NFL. If you go to London,
they're the only team that took it. It's interesting.
It's kind of odd. When they first started these games, everybody took it. Now you see more and more teams not taking it. It's kind of interesting.
There must be something to that. Seriously, they must have studied that. Obviously, they did.
Yeah. All right. So I gave this out as a best bet. I gave it out on the over/under. I like the over in this game as my best bet, but I also like this game in the featured bets. Hawaii minus 1 at New Mexico. I'm going to bet Hawaii minus 1. And like I said, I gave the over out in the podcast, but now I'm saying take Hawaii with the points. They are a high scoring offense playing one of the weakest defenses in the league. And I think they're safe to buy, Luke, all the way up to 6.5, and you're getting them at minus 1. My data says you have them safe all the way to a touchdown. So I love this bet, and I'm taking it.
I like it. All right, my first college featured bet, North Texas at Tulane. Laying 20 in this one. 20. The over-under is 61.5. I'd like to see this total go over 21. I'm not going to lie, but both teams are 3-3 against the spread this season. 20 points is a lot, man. That's a big spread. And I'm looking for an easy backdoor cover in this one, fourth quarter, by the Mean Green against the Green Wave. We're going to call this one, John, the Mean Green Wave of Cash.
I love it. We got a new wave to watch.
And I'm going back to the well in this one. My next pick, South Florida, 2.5-point favorites over UConn. They're on the road in Connecticut. The over-under in this one is 54.5. Going back to the well because I've bet on South Florida the last 2 weeks and I haven't done well, but come on, my man. It's UConn.
Yes.
You got to keep riding the pony, man. As my wife says, you fall off the horse, you got to get back up on it. She means literally because she rides horses. The Bulls -2.5 is my pick against the 1-5 Huskies, who have not won one game at home this season.
Oh, all right. Sound the alarm, Luke. Sound the alarm. Nevada at San Diego State.
God,
Here it comes.
I will
San
never
Diego
live that
State's the
down.
favorite here, -13.5. The over-under is 49.5. I like both. I like two bets in this game. San Diego State, I like them at -13.5. I also like the over 49.5. Nevada, 0-6 on the year, ranked last, dead last in the country on defense, and near the bottom of college football on offense. Aztecs have played a tough schedule so far, including Oregon State, Air Force, and Boise State. This opponent shouldn't test them at all. Nevada is by far the lowest rated team in the Mountain West. San Diego State's going to run all over them. And then we're going back to my favorite best bet. I'm giving a featured bet out on the spread, my man. And it's even moved up. It was at -7. Now it's 7.5, and I still like it. CSU at UNLV -7.5, 63.5 is a total over under. My best bet here, UNLV -7.5. Little known stat here. UNLV is 6-0 against the spread this year, and they should have no issues covering the spread with their high octane offense against a very poor defense. I like it. I like the
even
spread.
more than a touchdown. All right. Well,
Yep.
it's college football, man.
It's college football.
Happens all the time. Old Dominion is at Appalachian State here. Appalachian State is favored by 6.5, just under a touchdown. The over-under is 54. Give me the over in this one, John. The Mountaineers have hit the over in 2 of their 3 road games this season. The Monarchs, playing like butterflies lately, not the Lions that they are. They have hit totals of 69 against the Raging Cajuns and 76 against Marshall. And for my next and final featured bet in college football, Johnny Johns, we've got Charlotte at East Carolina. East Carolina favored by 7 at home. The over-under is 41.5 in this one. Give me the under in this one, and here's why. The 49ers are 4-2 to the under this season. The Pirates, the Pirates, are also 4-2 to the under this season. If I do my math correctly, and it took me about an hour to really carry do the things, 8-4 to the under. I'll take that. You like that?
Yeah, I like that. Kirk Cousins likes it. I like it. Hey, before we close out here, though, we got to mention something. Got to do a little mentioning here. When anybody's betting the NFL this weekend, be sure to check out those injuries. There are a ton of injuries this week. Me and you were talking about before the podcast. There's one game me and you stayed away from, the Raiders game, the Raiders versus Chicago. Both starting quarterbacks out. You got Trevor Lawrence on Thursday Night Football with a sore knee. Be sure to pay attention to those injuries this week, folks.
So absolutely. Yeah. It's a great point. And there are other games, like, let's just kind of break others down, like the Colts. The reason I bet those games, I like Minshew better as a quarterback, and he
we
should
talked
fare
about
better.
That before. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got the Jaguars tomorrow night. I didn't hear us give them much action on that game either, because you got Carr still hurt, and you got Trevor Lawrence you guys got a bruised knee. He's been wearing a brace around.
You mentioned San Francisco already. CMC went down. Trevor Williams, I believe, is out already for this game.
Debo is hurt.
Yeah, so
Giants
there's some big numbers out there with injuries.
Yeah, ton. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. There's
a reason we didn't mention those games, but we should mention them for that reason. So that does it for the Daddy Sharps featured bets this week. And remember, always gamble responsibly and within your means. Avoid injuries. And the bets we share are based on our own research. We don't always win.
And be sure and check us out on social media. Look for the Daddy Sharps on Instagram and Twitter. And check out our website, daddysharps.com. It's pretty cool. And of course, we will be back next week with much, much more. And I'm taking it that you'll be back in Denver next week, where you belong.
I will be in Denver tomorrow. So I'm going to be back in Denver. So the Daddy Sharps podcast on the road is over for this week.
Hey, John, I got a
Oh,
question for you.
give it to me.
Who is
Give
your
it to
daddy?
You are.
Well,
And
we
me.
are really.
We
We
are.
are really. We are. It's us. It's us.
Yep.
Hey, stay sharp, everyone.